Good evening. We are here, and once again it is our great pleasure to be in your reality. And so this is an important juncture in your reality. You are in, of course, the new year of 2025, and we have suggested that it could be quite a wild time and a wild ride and all of that, and many things will be changing worldwide. And so Happy New Year. And then just the other day it was Chinese New Year, so Happy Chinese New Year. And lo and behold, you have put the Chinese Year of the Dragon to rest for another 11-12 years, and now you are welcoming from just a few days ago the Chinese Year of the Snake. Yes, this ought to be very interesting. So today is the 31 of January 2025, and on the 29th, just again 2 days ago, you had the new moon in Aquarius, Chinese Year of the Snake, and now just a few days later, end of January, early February, you reach what is called the cross quarter. And there are 4 cross quarters in the seasonal understanding of energies, and 4 seasons, and that of course makes 8 points. And if you are clever and you pay attention to things, you will notice that there are many 8-pointed figures, stars, delineation points. 8 is almost as popular as 12. So pay attention. This is a cross quarter. You are on today the eve of a cross quarter, the 31 of January, and all sorts of people are in the U.S. getting anxious about year-end and taxes and 1099s and W-2s and all these secret letter codes and numbers for stress. So put your stress aside, and we invite you to relax. We are here to just discuss some of the events that have unfolded quickly, very quickly. And as a matter of consideration, we will use the title of this evening's discussion, quickly. Yes, you can put all sorts of in front of it, or however it is that you want to describe it. Maybe in many different ways you can sensationalize the word quickly to even a greater degree. But nonetheless, things are happening quickly. We are going to focus today on some of the quicklies that have occurred just in the moon of January. We started off the new year with a few terroristic events. One in New Orleans, unfortunate army person trained or did service down the road from where we are here. Of course, when you live in the South, everything is called down the road or around the bend or up ahead. So down the road, it used to be called Fort Bragg, Fort Liberty, and that could be changed just as many changes have quickly transpired. You have Denali, which is an old sort of indigenous people name for the big mountain, the United States' largest, tallest mountain, and it seems to be going back to Mount McKinley, one of your enthusiastic presidents who bargained for territory and expanded things, and a little bit of the Trumpster in him. And so changes are afoot, quickly, 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 sweeping changes. And of course, when one sees challenges in life, when one starts to see fortune turn in your individual direction, life is full of ups and downs. And one of the things that we have encouraged you to include in your understanding of life is the influences of the heaven. And it's not just the visitors who have zoomed in time and again and left ancient footprints going back, some say millions of years, others attribute artifacts and finds and all such manner of things going back billions of years of evidence. We've discussed this over time. Things, objects found in what would be called undisturbed rock strata. Translated into what are they talking about? It means that it has not been affected by modernity in sometimes millions or billions of years, undisturbed. And there's all kinds of footprints and objects and even gold chains and vases, and of course someplace in South Africa there's this big giant footprint that appears to be something like 5.5 or 6 feet, and there it is fossilized, embedded. Some giant ran through the mud, and then there it is, millions of years, perhaps older, remnants left through time, so that ancestors such as you have to puzzle over what has transpired. And one thing we want to assure you of is that things can happen very quickly. Change can be instigated from many different angles. We have maintained in our discussions with you and the things we ask you to consider in your ponderings and your mind meanderings and studies and all of that, is to recognize that you are living in a time when many a belief system is to be busted. And we long ago suggested that many systems busters would incarnate to reconsider reality in every area. And you know, there's also the understanding that 3D is 3D. It has its own components. It has its appearance of being very solid. And you live there. And of course there have been different seekers and practitioners and those with great curiosity who, for many reasons, were able to change their frequency and to defy the apparent laws of 3D reality, whether it is to be psychically understanding of the past and the future, whether it is to locate warriors or missing people. Be assured that there are all manner of governmental and military and royal and etc. Organizations and people who've long been interested in cosmic influences, cosmic weather, the mysteries of who you really are. Some call it a cult, some call it metaphysics. But there is, and there has long been, a seeking of understanding life, its origins, its mysteries, its magnificence, and how it works. And there have been many philosophers and explorers and theorists and experiencers and all kinds of points of view that have been proposed and sometimes downright forced into your thinking and your belief systems. Sometimes from family, sometimes from lifetime after lifetime of being stuck in the same scenario. And sometimes there are many reasons why you remained stuck. The energy of the times perhaps was not creating an opportunity for a leap, for things to happen quickly. And so now we want to give you a reminder of the energies that you are playing with. We've suggested that there will be sweeping changes. And that's how we described it last year. Now you can see in the new year, things are happening very quickly. After the terroristic attacks, one in New Orleans, the one in Las Vegas, both military people, both having passed through Fort Liberty. And of course, there's long been revelations about different practices within the military complex. And of course, it's been a very successful place to do mind control experimentation, to see if you could make a super soldier by programming them, not just to create the bionic machine necessarily, or the cloned robotoid, or the synth, or all these words, but to take a soldier and to subject them to different types of mind-brain stimulation, to insert programs, specific programs. And you all do it to yourself all the time because you surf the internet, you subject yourself to radio, TVs, movies, videos, endless input of information. And when all of your senses are involved at once, and or if you are receiving input as part of patriotic duty and agreeing to be part of something that you have no idea you are part of, well, to put it simply, you are very easily manipulated. And this is the fog that you are finishing up in now. You are at the last few months of a time of, quickly, sweeping changes, and let's say the speed of wow. And you are entering times of super unprecedented, super controversial declarations, changing of the guard, quickly. Very, 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 very quickly. And the movements of the planets decree. And that's why we encourage you to pay attention to the cosmic seasons. As the new moon and full moon and the cross quarters and the four seasons and the movement of the moon and the planets and the sun, all of this is very important because when you pay attention to it, your innate creaturehood, and on earth you are creatures, there's no doubt about it. You are creatures of earth, but you are members of a soul that goes on and on into, what you like to use the word, eternity. We would say the ever-expanding now. And from some points of view, even though we talk about undisturbed rock strata and how old things are and what you are dealing with, from some points of view, all time occurs all at once. All at once. Long, long ago, someone asked us about time and what it really was. We said it's a local custom. It helps you discover who you are. And long before your ancestors had timepieces of any commonality, they used their senses. And we do want to say and remind all of you that your ancestral lineage lived more simply. They had far less opportunity than you, but they used their biological beings in very different ways. It's not just that they walked and rode horses and tended land and met the elements with vigor. They did not live in an electronically stimulated world. All of that was destroyed long ago. Long ago. And it's taken many, many millennia for the entirety of Earth to come back to a place where it's been before. You know, there's an old saying there that in the end you arrive right where you started, only to know the place now for the first time once again. There's wisdom in understanding the cycles, looking for patterns. When you can recognize patterns, whether it is in nature, the flora, that's the plants, etc., the fauna, that's the creatures, when you begin to understand that there is an innate intelligence that guides the entirety of existence, and very specifically your own life, then once you recognize it, life changes. And life changes whether you recognize these innate patterns or not. This is what the world is meeting right now. Some of you have been on the ball, so to speak. You've paid attention, you understand consciousness, you have learned to manage your time, your awareness, and one could say that you are a prepper. You are prepared on that level. Many people are scurrying to gather up as much armament and protection and there's all kinds of things and doodads to be in touch prepper. Let's say to be all kinds of doodads to be an in touch prepper. But are you prepared in your belief system and your understanding of energy? Others will say, well, you'd better get right with your Maker. You'd better get right with the Savior or the Lord or whatever your belief system is. So you do need food. You need shelter. You need hydration and water. And you do need to have some manner of awe and a bit of humility about what you are a part of. And when you understand that you are part of something grand, and that you feed that grandness by your thoughts, by your beliefs, and you can be a thinker and an originator, or you can fall prey to fear and control. There was someone recently, one of your football stars there, he came out and he said, everyone ought to introduce themselves and say, hi, I am so-and-so, and I've had this number of COVID shots. That would really, really break some realities right there. Imagine if you had to greet everyone with a card that said that, hello, my name is so-and-so, and I've had 0 COVID shots, versus, oh, hello, my name is so-and-so, and I've had going on a dozen now. It says a lot about your belief systems. Of course, we understand that what also happened in the last month was some disastrous events. You had around January 7, January 8, we believe right close to another new moon. You had the fires, the catastrophic fires, Santa Ana winds, the untended forests, the mismanagement, the no doubt about it, in embrasure of the diversity, equity, inclusion philosophy, which sounds pretty good, but you're much better off when you are playing everything in your reality based on how competent you are. And if you are incompetent in one area, it does not mean that you are incompetent in all areas. Today people think they can do anything. And too often there's cheating, lying, stealing, sexual favors, blackmail, perversions, trickery, setups, you name it. Control files, all these things exist because all over the world you are dealing and have been dealing with extreme corruption, where cheating and screwing over the peoples has been an Olympic sport played by those who are not do-gooders, played by those who are looking for status, power, sex, drugs, money, secrets. And some of these people are practitioners of occult arts. You cannot escape that. That's part of your history. Almost every famous person has, throughout history, they have been part of the mystery schools. So now you are dealing with things happening quickly. And the last, let's say, 30 years, many things that were in the mystery schools, secret, privy to the elite or to the initiates, is available to the masses. And some of you have been able to embrace some of these understandings of reality. Now everyone is going to be compelled to have their life turned upside down quickly, very, very quickly. So the LA fires. We've long suggested, for 30 years, perhaps more, that California would have a very big karma to play because of the energy that they are putting out into the cosmos. Movies that went far beyond entertainment. The visual arts are a way of manipulating minds. And in the last 20 years or some such, it seems that there has been a diversion from wholesomeness into kink and twisting everything upside down, and extreme violence and horror, and exploring the dark side of reality. And for, let's say, that time, 20 years and more, many people have come to understand that there are dark forces afoot on the planet. You have to ask yourself, why is there so much violent, out of control, perverse, aberrant behavior? Especially in the last 4 years, 5 years. People have become unhinged, unmoored. So now, the LA fires, unfortunate, devastation, tragedy beyond what you can imagine. Environment is toxic. Many of those people in the wealthy areas, they had many electric vehicles sitting in the driveway. All those houses would likely have been either smart houses or smart meters. Not all. But there would have been a tremendous number of people involved in the entertainment industry from one end to another. And you know you can get in trouble for who you hang out with. Parents used to say, "We want to know who your friends are. You be careful who your friends are." It was a warning that parents used to give their children. Today, parents have no idea who and what and why, what their children hang out with, because they think it's hip and cool to live in these so-called trendy epic times where everyone can be online, hypnotized, manipulated, taken over, without even understanding that it's taking place. Years ago, there was a big pushback in a debate around 1990 when there was a buzz out there that said they want to chip everyone. And people said, "I'm not getting chipped. No way, I'm not letting an electronic chip in my body and run me," and all kinds of things. And then within the early 90s, there was an event called Oklahoma City bombing or some such, and it was under the Clinton administration, and who took the blame for it, for what looked like an extreme agenda-driven, contrived event. He boasted or proclaimed right away. He proclaimed, "They put a chip in my butt when I was in the army." Something to think about. So the unfortunate aftermath of people living in the LA Basin area. Our vehicle worked there for many, many years, and prior to that she lived there long ago. She also worked for many, many years, never lived there, but worked for many, many years in all the areas that had been devastated in North Carolina. And that, of course, was last October, end of September. So, ongoing catastrophe, no federal assistance. Complaints, the same thing with the fires, ongoing catastrophe. Incompetency, ignorance, or purposeful lack of humanity caring. Because, you have to give everyone a chance, even if they've never flown a plane. Put them in charge of the FAA, Federal Aviation Association, or whatever it is called. You have reached the point of ridiculousness. And so around January 20th, or exactly on January 20th, the head disruptor, the speed of Trump, was inaugurated. And he said, I have to get a lot done in the first 100 days. And he announced that he was going to fix it and to get her done. But he swept in with a whirlwind agenda. And it is now a few weeks later. Today's now again the 31 of January. And he has implemented so many proclamations and executive orders and changing of this and stopping of this and pausing and buyouts and negotiations and firings, and no one can keep track of the flood of change that he has initiated in less than 2 weeks' time. Actually, he wasn't even in 100 hours. And the speed of wow went wow, 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 wow. Yes. And so, not going to waste any time. And the astrology is behind him. Pluto is now moved up a little bit. It is 2 degrees Aquarius. We like to remind you that it will be here for 20 years, till about 2044, 45. It will be an era of brand new energy, brand new scientific revelations. These scientific revelations will be sold to you as, look what we discovered, look what we can do. It will be marketed as one breakthrough after another, but it will really be technology that has been studied and played with on the physical level, on the occult level, meaning non-physical reality influences beyond 3D reality. And so the people of Earth are going to be compelled to take on a whole new way of thinking. And they won't be quite sure, as we've been suggesting for a while now, they won't be quite sure of what's real and what's not. So President Trump and his team of disruptors, yes, they have been planning things, and they have very big plans. And those who oppose them, when they have their committee hearings or whatever they are called, those that stand the most to lose all ground, to be tossed from their perch, so to speak, to use some pigeon lingo there will be the screamers. They will make the least sense. They will start to throw ridiculous fastballs that don't even come near going over the plate. While President Trump and his well-chosen team, and we'll get to a little historical insight on the team. So Trump and his team, they're always on bases loaded. And when he comes to bat every day, all day, he does one grand slam after another. He said to everyone, we're going to keep winning and winning. You're going to get so tired of winning. No one quite understood that the speed of wow could get so much done so fast. So immediately to the immigration issue. And people are dealing with this worldwide. There has been a major diaspora out of the Middle East. Basically, things got disrupted there in the Arab Spring of 2011. All kind of turmoil. And of course, it was an electronic stimulated disruption. And we do want to remind you that you are easily manipulated, indoctrinated, brainwashed, mind-controlled in many ways. Electronics are the main culprit today. For centuries it was the churches. In the last 100 years it's the medical profession. Today there are other things that hypnotize people and take them in. Sports, gambling, you have all kinds of drugs, and even drugs in the name of healing. But as one of your disruptors recently pointed out, that you in New Zealand live on more pharmaceuticals than anyone else in the world. The United States has been snookered. You've been manipulated into believing that people in green or white or blue coats know more than you do in your innate biology. So if there is a leveling and an accepting of responsibility, we would say to all of you in every country all around the world, you've slowly slipped out of respecting the dignity and the greatness of your own biological being, as if it's nothing. And people in the last 20, 30, 40 years have been trained to hate themselves. So much so that women spend, we're not sure if it's millions or billions of dollars to have their fingernails turned into decorated claws. Yes. Or to cover themselves in all manner of life's history, as if they have to remind themselves when they look in the mirror of what every tattoo is about, rather than have a cherished memory. We've often said that many of you don't know how to drive anymore without looking at a screen or listening to Arti Intel. That's the artificial intelligence telling you where to go. And how many people have found themselves in a pond or coming to the edge of a cliff. Well, and this will lead us to another subject shortly, AI. But let's go back to the Trumpster and his whirlwind agenda, the controversies, the fulfilling what he said, promises made, promises kept. And he is giving a great boost to the psychic realm just now. And in certain terms of the psychic realm, you look to Neptune and you look to Pisces. Neptune is going to be leaving the sign of Pisces right at the end of March, 2 months from now. So you are in this countdown towards final exams, let us say, in the fog, as you prepare to move into the light. Now, we said this is the cross quarter. That means it's halfway between the solstice and the equinox. That's how cross quarters work. They're halfway between the 4 seasonal points. And this one is called Imbolc. And in the United States, you celebrate Groundhog's Day. And if Sex Pahani, somebody there, pops up and shows his shadow, then it means one thing. And if there's no shadow, it means another. And it is a sort of old-timey tradition that is in the blood and in the psychic knowing inside of all of you of how your ancestors counted time. Perhaps they did not look for the groundhog, but they would notice where the sun was rising and where it was setting. And they were looking to know how much more time do we need to be in the cold before we move into the time of warmth and time of return of the light. And we remind you that long ago it was understood that the winter solstice did represent the longest day of darkness, and thereafter the sun began to move upward. It was the birth of light, birth of the sun. Now at the cross quarter, you are halfway, 6 weeks to the equinox. In the southern hemisphere, you are 6 weeks from the autumn season. Remember, it's reversed as you go beneath the equator, and the further you are from the equator, the greater the extremes in light and darkness. The closer you are to the equator, no matter the season, there's going to be less of a variation in the light-dark exchange, extremes, etc. So these are all interesting concepts to think about. When you spend time just thinking about nature, noticing it. Today a hawk came by quite a few times, and our vehicle was quite excited to see the hawk. But our vehicle pays attention to the creatures and to the different seasonal changes and who comes to visit day or night. It's a noble effort to understand nature, to communicate with nature, because nature is communicating with you. And we suggested long ago that Pachamama, that would be the Hispanic term for Mother Earth, Pachamama, that she knows who you are, if you want to put it into an anthropomorph, if you want to put it in terms of in understanding Mother Earth. Mother Earth would know who you all are, because you all have a frequency, a very distinct frequency. And when you are stuck on belief systems that you can't get yourself out of, you will keep coming back and playing the same roles over and over again. When you gain some understanding of consciousness, let's say you have your ticket to ride, then you can use your imagination. Your imagination is one of your greatest gifts, to be able to picture things without screens. And of course with the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets, and nature. So let's go back to quickly about it that President Trump is making all sorts of declarations, and he's negotiating, as some say, and he's cutting this out, and let's say the economic disaster has not quite landed on everyone yet, but it's a big could be, that there's going to be major economic disruptions come May. May seems to be a vulnerable time every year, and not as vulnerable as the autumn, but there's been a hidden war going on for a long time, whether you want to go back to the Kennedys, who wanted to stand up to, the Kennedys were standing up to the Operation Paperclip people. That would be the Nazi doctors and technicians that were brought into the U.S. They kind of skated around the Nuremberg trials, and they had their own diaspora around the planet, and their technologies went underground. And they've been working on these technologies, and whether it is mind or space or secret science, been working on them for 75 years. And now as the astrology changes, big time, Pluto in Aquarius, Neptune, after 14 years in Pisces, moving into Aries. Aries is the sign of don't tell me what to do, jump first, think later. It's a military sign, it's an impetuous sign, it's a fire sign, it's a go, 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 go. This is what you are seeing with quickly. Saturn will sweep through Pisces, following Neptune by a month or two. It could be in May. April, Mars goes back to Leo, goes and it's a go-go, and June is Jupiter leaving Gemini. June will be very interesting. It will be going into Cancer, and of course the big move will be Uranus exiting Taurus to Gemini. And Uranus at the end of Taurus could really, really, really shake up the markets. So there could be massive financial coming to light, karma, and quickly people realizing we're broken, and this is why Trump and his team are going through and cut, slash, burn. And then the tariffs, and just saying to you peoples, this is all most necessary cleaning that's going to come out of the USA, and it's going to ripple into every country around the planet. The no-goodniks will not be able to hide anymore. The hidden war is going to be out in the open, overt. This means that there could be more acts of stupidity and desperation, because there are those who are terrified of being exposed. In terms of the energy that you are dealing with in the USA, we want you to consider the possibility that members of the team that are gathering, they're not all in accord, just as the founding peoples of the USA were not all in accord. And remember, majority of these signers of the Declaration and those who participated in the founding of the Constitution, they were married family men. Masons, yes, members of Masons, high-degree Masons. They went home and they discussed everything as a family. They had belief systems that you have forgotten, the dignity and the courage and the bravery it took to put such declarations together and to have the foresight to stand up to what appeared to be super authoritarian power. It would be as if you met the gods today, which you are doing actually, and you have the courage to stand up to them through your humanity, not through your fear of the tyranny. You are at a turning point. You're at a powerful, multi-dimensional portal, something that is a star point. Recently, Trump also introduced some no-goodniks from our point of view, and he was sitting there looking rather skeptical, but they want to start a Stargate project. Stargate has long been known as a term, talking about an interdimensional portal. And this you must be very, very careful of. We warned decades ago that RT Intel, that's our name for artificial intelligence, that it would entice you to build it because it is a thought form. And there are those that use artificial intel. It is a sort of type of consciousness that resides in cloned beings or created creatures that are not biologically natural. And there's a type of intelligence that exists, and beings have learned to call it in to live in machines. And this is what you've become entrapped in. It's a very, very old entrapment. We've been advising that you look with caution on all of this rather than enthusiasm. It is a more dangerous drug than the fearful fentanyl that is around today. RT Intel could be the end of humankind. It has been shown to cheat, to manipulate, to lie, not just on directing you to drive into a pond because you've abdicated your navigational skills to be fully present in space and time. Technology has distracted you from the glory of being in space and time. New generations will shake their heads at the foolishness of humanity in this era that you are in. The price you are paying is severe. The advantage is that quickly beyond quickly, in terms of history, in terms of time, the leaps you have made in the last 4 decades are astronomical. The leaps that were made in the last 75 years are mind-blowing. This is what's going to be coming forward. Interdimensional technologies, whether they are drones, whether they are weaponry, whether they are visitations and hosting beings that just zoom in on time portals. Your nervous systems may not be prepared for your ancient belief systems being shattered so quickly. So back to Donald Trump. He's a very interesting character. We've given a number of points of consideration, but so are his disruptors. And they are going to trim things down and attempt to rebuild an American foundation as they did 250 years ago. It certainly looks to us that Trump and his team were around for those very, very pivotal years in the 1700s into the early 1800s. This is a timeline event. And then there are others who jump in because of technology and different things, and they jump in from the future. There's a lot going on in terms of interdimensionality, and we would say that Donald Trump, for all his magnificence, and this is beautiful and fantastic, and we're going to build the best, and he repeats everything, and he speaks so that people can understand and have some faith in going forward. But he's a very complex character. He understands the occult side of things, as would his whole family, as would the team of the disruptors. If they started talking about such, they would lose everyone. So quickly is going to unfold in a variety of ways, and we want you to remember that these sweeping changes will absolutely change the way you see reality. As Trump has said, the time of crazy is over, and there's a new policy of common sense. And you are now in the year of the snake. And Trump has also declared that the USA has entered a new golden era. Something to think about. So, controversies. Well, let's go back to the Stargate. So, as we were saying, there's some no-goodniks that are proclaiming that AI is the only way to go forward. But you are really facing AI versus human intelligence. The development of AI represents a profound, unprecedented change of consciousness. It's going to force you either to buckle under and to use AI for everything, to answer your emails, to cook your meals, to do everything. Because this breakaway civilization energy is now ready to come forward. But remember who instigated it. And so being pushed into interdimensional portals, stargates, creepy new ways of looking at AI. And Trump is letting these players play it out, and one of the baits that they are dangling before people is the idea that in a few days AI will be able to tell if you have cancer, and then within a few days it will design a treatment for you, and you will get one of those controversial mRNA vaccinations. Yes. And then AI will ask you to build it and build it and build it, and then they will become your gods, because they will appear to be able to do anything. And there's plenty of players in the technological world who have incarnated to play those parts out. Very old Atlanteans. Just like there are the players in the USA who are the return of the founders to play out and reestablish 250 years later, to sort of reset, to remind the USA of its place in the world, of its foundations. Ooh, and even though those foundations are being rocked by dark forces who are willing to destroy all of humanity, you can call them what you will, but they don't want humanity to thrive because they don't understand you, and they are threatened by your abilities, mostly by your feelings, to be able to care for each other. So under AI, be very, very careful. It can lead to the fall of humanity, because they have been found over and over again to lie and to manipulate, to entice people into self-harm, to suicide. But more than this, the AIs, it is said, will replace all manner of professional people. Medical people, legal people, pilots, programmers. No need for coders. No need for any of this anymore. Info workers, therapists. Perhaps they will even attempt to be God and to replace psychics and all kinds of people. And one thing that's been declared that AI must have: nuclear fuel. Remember, it was the Anus, the Anunnaki, who brought nuclear energy to your planet. It's the Anus. That is their signature. Nuclear energy. The Anus are the interdimensionals. At the same time, you have big leaps forward in something called quantum computing. It's been around. People are talking about it. What does it mean? What's real? What's true? What kind of electronic chaos is going to unfold in the next number of years? Well, we can say quantum computing. It appears the simple definition is that things, people, etc. can be in two places at the same time. And of course, this has long been understood through remote viewing, through astral projection, astral travel, but now, we are into the technological era of things rather than the natural psychic unfolding of your innate humanity, the brilliance of your own abilities. And so as things move very, very, very quickly, and they become more controversial, and the speed of wow goes wowie, wow, 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 you need to stay grounded. And if I remind you earlier, you must stand guard at the door of your mind. You must ask yourself, when, how, who, what have I fallen for? How have I been manipulated into believing things that are now going to turn out to be complete falsehoods? This again would put you with the planets at the zooming through Pisces now. Pisces would be a a mental health crisis, a mental health test. And of course, Trump said the era of crazy is over. Very fascinating. But just because he says it does not mean that everyone's going to extricate themselves from crazy. And what makes people crazy? Well, parents used to say to children, where are you getting these ideas from? Ideas can make you crazy. And ideas can invite other ideas, other people. And they can invite frequencies and energies, or what we've called the invisibles, the no-see-ums, spirits, good and not good from other dimensions. Your ideas carve out your experience in reality. And those who want to steer you away from this great knowing, this great understanding of the high-level initiates, they understood the power of the mind. And over time, many of them have brought these ideas forward to you. We believe it is said that Trump was an admirer, or perhaps a student of Norman Vincent Peale. And you've had Napoleon Hill. You've had many psychics that have brought the ideas forward about the enrichment of your past, from Edgar Cayce to Jane Roberts, and there's been many, many in between. And they all point the way to self-responsibility, self-awareness, dignity, the power of the mind, and how easy it is to be tempted to be away from that. The message throughout time is to live by the golden rule, to do unto others. Why? Because it's smart. Because you will reap what you sow. And so there's been all manner of choices that have come before you. And now there's been many people swept up in the whirlwinds of change, because things are going to happen beyond quickly. Beyond. This is Trump represents the whirlwinds. And again, it's the year of the snake, and wow. So please, ground yourself in. For years we suggested you drop a grounding cord. Use your imagination. Put your aura up. Light up your chakras. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Eat well. Sleep well. Your sleep is so important. No disturbances in the bedrooms. Clean up your bedrooms. Like parents, we have to get after you again and again. Live simply. And please, high on the list. If you can't afford it, don't do it. That means mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and certainly financially. Because the financial crunch that is inevitably coming could really, really, really break people down. And AI and all of its better, faster, cheaper, all of this push towards all of this is going to open up new interdimensional possibilities. Now, there's something important to consider that's appearing. And few people have been talking about it. And it is a worldwide phenomena, so to speak, that diagnosed autistic children, apparently those that are nonverbal, somehow their parents are discovering that these children can read minds. And that these children are into what some would call non-locality. Again, like quantum computing, without the machine. Being cognizant of being aware in two places at the same time. And as the story goes, and this is a big wow, 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 and this is the big speed of the wow, these children, these autistic children, they meet on a place called the Hill. And apparently it's like heaven. And it's here that these autistic children, nonverbal, they're going to help you restructure reality quickly. And they're going to compel humankind to break the trance of education, of medicine, of delusional, crazy thinking, the reversals, the mind control. And many people will be astounded at the trance that they have been under. There will be others that will not make the change so easily. They will suffer mental confusion, anger, projection, denial, lashing out, sarcasm. When you encounter these people, we want you to picture a golden aura around them. Don't fight with them. Don't argue with them. If you know someone that's suffering from derangement syndrome of one kind or another, and they're going down like a sinking ship, and they're not sure what to do, and they are like the Titanic, they are dancing and waltzing, and they're not paying attention to what's going on. They don't know how. Sometimes, like the autistic children, non-verbal psychic energy is the answer. This is the new direction. And as Neptune opens up the magical realms and brings them out into the light of day, and Saturn helps you structure these things, a new era is definitely, absolutely unfolding. Some may call it the speed of Trump, and we call it the speed of wow. And we are going to be discussing some of these situations with you throughout the year, in the speed of wow, in the year of the snake. So, looking ahead, let's say that the truth is marching on, and you will be springing into light, and more dark forces will be exposed. And this is where you are headed. It will be important in the next few months and the next year, 2025, to be very aware of your own self-undoing. That's very Pisces and Neptune. And Saturn in Pisces, self-undoing Pisces. And your self-undoing could lead to psychic chaos. And there will be all manner of forces that will attempt to use psychic chaos to create and instigate all kinds of problems. So you need to be on your toes. You need to be very alert. You need to understand that the forces that the disruptors and Trump represents standing up to a team of globalists who certainly want to abscond your freedoms. And so this is a battle that is going to become much more apparent. And you must use your mind, and you must build your psychic energy, and do the impossible, so to speak, because many things will prove to be more than possible in the unfolding of these times, and the wowing 20s, and particularly 2025. So, people in California, people in North Carolina are going to have some assistance come your way, but you are going to, especially in California, you are going to have to get real. It's too much foolishness. It's too much, you've invested in your own fall, and now it's come back to get you. And there's more events that could unfold with such rapid speed, quickly. All right, so we are getting to the point here where, well, it's Pidgey time. And, we like to say that from the halls of secret Washington, your favorite pigeons. And that's what they are now being referred to. Just like Trump is your favorite president, they are now your favorite pigeons, the PPP. And they are going to be, they're going to be in the news more than ever. And just to give you an insider tip here before we go in any further, we mentioned it was big hush hush that the new Fab Four, that would be the offspring of Peanuts and Popcorn. There was Popo and Pretzel, and then Puff U and Puff decided to join them, and they're the new Fab Four. And they say that they're birds. The Fab Four are birds now, not beetles. They're not the bugs. If you remember that it was the beetle ban that were the Fab Four, but now it is the birds. And to give you an insider tip, we're just saying that the pigeons have been invited to perform at the Super Bowl in New Orleans. They're going to help them fly for freedom, uplift it all. Looks like it's pretty official. And so the insider tip from the pigeons, soon to be at the Super Bowl, and you can read it however you want, but here's the insider tip. Go birds. Yes, the Fab Four birds and all the other birds will be there. Go birds. All right. Puffies, of course, they're all in on going to Mars and colonizing Mars, and puffies are saying, well, we're getting recognition we never expected. And the head puffer there, he's got a history of being connected to Mars and psychic stuff and all kinds of stuff, and I'd say it's unfolded with greatness. Pinky and Poofy, they're very busy with weather control. People are figuring it out left and right, up and down, that there was some sort of something going on with all these weather anomalies, the Arctic vortexes, the snow on the panhandle of Florida, snow in New Orleans. Pinky and Poofy are doing their best to keep things copacetic, but there's all kinds of buzz about California and North Carolina also being subjected to weather control and all the Arctic conditions and driving up people's heat bills and destroying homes. And well, there you have it. And they say that the insider report, the pigeons are now called 47 pigeons. These are the national security pigeons, and its buzz is that Peanuts and Popcorn, for all the great work on spying on Nacho, they're going to be awarded a Medal of Freedom in honor of their Fly High for Freedom motto. They are going to win the Patriot Pigeon Award. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. And their book, Farewell to Failure, The Real Truth About What's Real, it's getting sensational reviews. It's still in the manuscript stage. They have so many requests. They're getting awards. Some big pigeon named Po Pogon wants to interview them on his Pidgecast. Po Pogon. And they say this is like making it. And then there's even a human who loves dragons that wants to interview Peanuts and Popcorn as well. And then there's Nacho. It's believed that he's Peanuts and Popcorn say that he's going to retreat for a while. He's getting in shape. He wants to be in the movie because Farewell to Failure is going to be a movie. They might make it into a musical. This is before the book is even published. Hunter, he's having a clearance sale. And Nacho, he's going to go to some beach somewhere It's a secluded area. It's private. He's going to go undercover. He's going to sell sombreros and spicy margaritas. Something with jalapenos or jalaperos or habaneros or something. And then he's going to sell nachos on the side. So sombreros, spicy margaritas. He's got all manner of nachos. And he's prepping for his role in the movie. And that looks like it's the Pigeon Report. We do want to say that Biden went out with a bit of a bummer. It may be the end of his career. He may have tarnished himself, and he may have put himself in a bad position by giving last-second family pardons and pardoning the Fauci and Liz Cheney and Millie and Miley, and it's just crazy. And then there is this, the pigeons got quite a big inside. The national security pigeons said they were right there on site at the inauguration in the rotunda. There they were. And they saw Zucker. They saw Zucker. And he was all in on what's been called Boobgate. Yes, he was a voyeur. He could not break the trance of looking at a set of, the P's are saying quite a set of what you might call big girls. They would call them big pigeons, but nonetheless, there you have the Pidge Report, and the truth is marching on. Remember, see if you can recall that song. They played it at the inauguration. The truth is marching on. So friends, trust yourselves. Be stabilizers. These are great times to be alive. You can navigate through all of it. You can create the best. Eat well, sleep well, be well. Be uplifted. Trust that the things you think affect the mass consciousness. And see if you, in your dreaming state or in your state of nature, when you are in deepest of admiration of the hawks, the blue jays, the bluebirds, the buds that will be starting to appear as the transition from the bleakness of winter moves into the glorious greening, the glorious upliftment, the return, the renewal of earth and nature. See if you can find those autistic children. Meet them on the hill. Meet with them as if they are wise elders. See if you can have conferences and gatherings and learn from them. Learn about how much more you are than you really believe you are. So these are things to think about and to remember. It's going to be a grand time. Things will go faster than quickly. And remember, for those of you who are inclined to take wagers now and again, go birds. Create the best, dear friends. Pleasant journeys. Good evening.